Hey all, and welcome to Discount Bin, a pack of pals reading, digesting, and arguing over fantasy novels in a weekly podcast format. This week is our first round of Stone Sky by N.K. Jemisin. Today we're picking up with Chapter 1. This week we have the usual suspects. I'm Rick. This is Leonard.
Hello.
Lexi.
Hi.
And Daniel.
Hello, all.
Yeah.
First, Lexi, how was Magic tonight, other than having to bow out early?
It was.
Were you winning?
I was not winning, which is why
Okay.
I made it quite easy to bow out early.
Oh,
Gotcha.
so you
But
just wanted
I
us to
did-
feel bad.
I did get a consolation prize. It's just a Layla, the artful provocateur, but it's an alternate art.
Oh,
It's like a heavy metal poster.
cool.
But yeah, Magic was good. I'm really excited to talk about it soon, though.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's too bad we're doing that 1 second then.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
Rick, Leonard, you're both doing well. We've been talking for
Probably.
like 45 minutes. I don't
Fine.
care.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to kick it off with Hoa, the Sil'anagist, or however that's pronounced, chapters, and then we'll move on to Asun and then Nasun. This week, we're reading the first third of The Stone Sky. So this is a story of how Hoa opened the obelisk gate and flung away the moon. Tens of thousands of years ago, there was a nation called Sil'anagist, with large cities sprawled across 3 continents. In the center of one of the cities stood the Amethyst Obelisk. There are 256 obelisks at the center of 256 cities. The goal of the obelisks is to be an infinite energy source. The Onyx Obelisk is the control point of the obelisk gate. Hoa and others of his kind are kept in a prison where they train to connect with and control the obelisk. They have been stripped of parts of their humanity and somehow have the power to manipulate magic and earth. There is a conductor in charge named Gallet. He brings a woman named Kalenli to meet Hoa. She acts like the regular humans, but has powers like them. She is more powerful than them and is there to teach them about themselves. She's there to start a revolution. Kalenli tells them they need to get outside their prison and connect with the other obelisks to become as skilled as she is. Not all of the Stone Eaters trust Kalenli, but she convinces the conductor Gallet to let them take a trip outside the prison. So I felt like these chapters had a lot of kind of information about the world, but at the same time, not a whole lot was happening. It's a lot more just kind of filling us in on, kind of introducing us almost to a whole new world, because,
A
the
whole new
world-
place.
a magic carpet ride, some might say.
Yeah, nice.
They say in Sil'anagist, life is precious. So Rick, what do you think they mean by life?
Life is precious. Oh man, give me a second to think about this before then cut into when I have a perfect answer. I have to remember.
I can
The
throw it to someone
context.
else if you would like,
No, it's fine.
or you could throw it to someone else.
I don't want to throw it at somebody else. I mean, I had an answer,
Fuck
and
you.
now it's one of those. I just I thought of. Okay, Leonard,
What?
fuck you, Lexi. What do you think?
I think it's so ironic. I think it is like put in there specifically to show like the dishumanity of this future world, right? How the Stone Eaters are just tools, and how people living in this world are literally just like living in prison cells. Like everything is just so perfect, and it's not. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's not perfect for the people living in the cells.
No,
Is that
but
what you
just no, just the fact that they have like this incredibly structured like system for
Oh, sure.
their city, and like it's not actually living, and that they are all a part of the system. And then you have the Stone Eaters that are, I think, are living people. I mean, they're not people, but they are sentient.
I think they're altered humans. I think that's the
They're not-
impression we're supposed to get.
They're not
Yeah.
stone eaters yet, but they seem like genetically modified people.
Well,
That was
They're
the
all
impression I
described
got, at
as like
least.
ice white eyes, and
right, and white skin. Like
Yeah.
they were like they clearly stand out. They are very unlike people, which is why they try to like put makeup on them to.
Although one of the conductors was the same. Had the same like white skin. So possibly like genetic mutations of him.
But I still,
Or
I'll have to go back.
clones.
Like, yeah.
This is also, like we like to say in HOTS, life is a resource.
Yeah.
It's
I felt
true.
I felt like what they really meant was the way of life, though. It felt very, very structured, and like everybody has to stick to the rules, kind of like it kind of. It felt like that to me when they say life is precious. It actually meant way of life, or it meant rules are precious.
So we don't really know anything about how humans are living their life, or like the normal humans in these cities, because we just don't see any of them. Everything we see is inside this prison by these, where these future Stone Eaters are hanging out. And yeah, it's very structured for them because, they're literally in a prison. And like slowly being weeded out too, because, we see the one person who got taken out and was killed, or presumably killed, I should say. But yeah. I feel like there's just more to the life than like them thinking life itself is precious. It's more like at the end of someone's life, they can like, take their life and use it for something, maybe. It felt like more than just, our modern day sense of life being precious.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on. So there's an obelisk in the center of all these major cities, and we learn the name that they had for the obelisk gate, which is the Plutonic Engine. Leonard, any ideas why it's called the Plutonic Engine?
No idea.
Have
The
you heard
whole-
about Pluto? It's messed up. Sorry.
The thing about the whole sequence, though, like the flashback, it feels so disconnected from the rest of the story. Besides that, Hoa was one of them, and it was very hard to relate. It felt like you were reading another book entirely, a description of another world, and the only connections that the story had with this flashback were Hoa and the obelisk, but they also talk among each other as if they already know what the obelisks are, and it was very hard for, at least for the reader, to really kind of form any opinions about what might be happening. It's just like a flashback scene you watch, and it's like, what is this? What is that? I don't know
Yeah.
yet.
I think this is just their way of giving us the origin story, right? Like, why is this world like it is? Where did the powers come from? Where did the obelisk come from?
Yeah,
all
but
that information.
they didn't really explain any of that, though. Like,
Yeah, but
the only
sort of
impression we got was that it was a very advanced civilization, showed by, they said that they had vehicles that were floating off the ground, several inches off the ground.
And they
Hover
could,
cars, anyone?
they could go through a person. They said like if a kid ran in front of it, they would, kind of just turn
Phase.
into nothing. Yeah, phase exactly.
Yeah.
And be fine on the other side.
Yeah, and there was no mention of seasons, so yeah, I mean, it was kind of obvious that it was like super far back in the past. And
Yeah.
Maybe like days before, months before the season start.
Yeah. And Hoa even says, like, while narrating, that this is, the story of how he opens the obelisk gate and flings away the moon. So we'll get that here before the end of the book, undoubtedly.
Mhm.
Probably towards the end. All right. This is a good one for Lexi. So first, a little quote. So Hoa says, That is not a metaphor, not hyperbole. I did watch the world burn. Say nothing to me of innocent bystanders, unearned suffering, heartless vengeance. When a calm builds atop a fault line, do you blame its walls when they inevitably crush the people inside? No, you blame whoever was stupid enough to think that they could defy the laws of nature forever. Well, some worlds are built on a fault line of pain, held up by nightmares. Don't lament when those worlds fall. Rage that they were built, doomed in the first place. So, Lexi, what do you think about that sentiment?
I resonate with this sentiment quite a
I
bit.
thought you would.
Wait, how?
I think it has merit. I mean, I think there's a lot of truth to it. Like, put yourself in a situation where you're gonna get burned and you get burned. Like, it's not the fire's fault.
Sure. So I agree to an extent, but he says, say nothing of innocent bystanders or unearned suffering, heartless vengeance, which is the part I do take issue with, because he's talking about literally killing billions of people.
Yeah.
And I think this sentiment basically just gives you carte blanche to do literally anything you want because it's their fault.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. It is very. Yeah.
That's kind of on par with the entire theme of the book.
Yes.
Yeah.
It really is.
That's how the dinosaurs died, dude. Somebody pressed a button and erupted all the volcanoes.
Yeah, it's honestly a lot of similarity between Hoa and Nasun, which we can talk more about later.
Yeah, and Esun.
Esun's the opposite, right? No, because she doesn't want to destroy the world.
Well, that's now, but like I would say that her and Hoa have a lot of similarities in just being pretty nonchalant about the murders that happened.
For sure.
Has she not?
It seems like everyone in this world is pretty nonchalant.
I was gonna say, how many people just died without her really considering anything besides for murdering the enemies? The last book, the end of that.
I mean, okay.
And then like the city she left because like one person wanted her dead.
Well, I mean, you can still argue self-defense for that one.
For one person, okay, yeah, it's self-defense. But then she basically doomed the whole town.
She did doom the entire
one
town.
Crossbow bolt or whatever that got shot at her, right? Like,
but they could have left. They could have realized the water situation was fucked. And
I mean,
it's super hard to survive during a season being calmless, but that was an option. They left. They had a choice to stay there, like stay on that fault line and suffer the consequences.
It sounds like just you would do really well in this world, Lexi.
You would do really well arguing for large fracking companies and people who destroy large natural reserves and kick people off their land.
Oh,
they have a choice to move.
Yeah,
or they could stay or die. That's a choice.
Oh my goodness.
I bet when she inherits her parents' farmland, she's going to kick all the farmers off. It's like, oh, your crops are mine.
Oh, I don't know how to farm.
I can help.
Oh my gosh. Oh. Anyway.
I was expecting more fight from you, Lexi, on this, so I did some research.
Oh, yeah.
Modern day slavery, which was not a super fun read. But slavery is still legal in many different forms.
Capacities. Yeah.
So like, I think the way most Americans think about slavery, you think about, the history of American slaves, and that is called chattel slavery. But there's also like indentured servitude and various other ones. But there's a country on the east coast of Africa called Mauritania, and they have 2% of the populations of slaves. And this argument is very much like, let's say Britain were to just nuke the entire country tomorrow, we would just be like, okay, they had it coming because, don't say nothing to me of innocent bystanders or unearned suffering, right? I don't know. It's a really messed up viewpoint, I think.
It's very black and white. It's very like utilitarian. Yeah. But I mean, you swing the pendulum the other way, right? and like every bad person has some good in them, right? Like there's a reason that there's a reason Asun is killing towns and is crazy. Like it's
and none of this is to justify any of the actions or like I'm just not on board with this. Kill everyone. You can do literally anything and you're absolved of any action because just because.
What's there's a term for it. Splash damage. They're casualties.
So I think there's something to like be said though about like there is no such thing as like an innocent bystander. And like if like the themes of this book is clearly like racism, and it's
I would say
like,
your daughter is at 1.5 years old is an innocent bystander.
Unless she's an origine.
They were born sinful.
Unless people actively fight against the system that oppresses, they are oppressing.
Sure.
It's like you can argue ignorance, and that's fine, but I think that is kind of the point. I'm not saying that like I love that point, that I fully agree with that point, but I do think that there is some merit in it. I do not think the kids of this world were guilty and deserved to be raised along with their cities, but
they deserve to be raised.
No.
By their family.
No.
Yeah, pick a choice on this one.
Do I?
All right. So we find out the Onyx obelisk controls the plutonic engine, or the obelisk gate. Maybe the gate's just... Maybe the Onyx obelisk is just the control panel. And the plutonic engine is like all of them. I think that's how it goes. I don't know. We'll figure it out when they finally turn it on and start blowing shit up.
Maybe.
Maybe,
or catching shit.
I have this question marked as not Leonard. So, Rick.
Oh, no.
All right. So Nasun is going to the core point with the Sapphire, right? Any ideas how she might be able to control it when Asun has the Onyx?
Wait, did we just jump straight?
Yeah, it's happening.
Okay. Stop. Repeat the question.
Sure.
So Asun's going there with the...
She's got the Sapphire. The Onyx obelisk is the one that controls the entire plutonic engine.
Right.
So it seems like her and the Sapphire can't do much other than regular obelisk shit.
I mean, if it requires all of them, if we're going into her entire like currently understood purpose of sabotaging the catching of this moon, then it might only take the one obelisk to actually fuck everything up, right? You don't need the key. Like you can cut one wire and fuck up a control scheme. You can use one obelisk to blow something up, to ruin it, or to sabotage the catch. Like, oh, this one's going to put a little more power in here, and now it's going to suck it right in.
Yeah. I feel like her plan has to be something a little more active than that's like a pretty passive, like just holding this Sapphire away from Asun. Unless the moon is literally like hurtling towards the Earth right now.
Which is what we're to be understood, right? Like right now it's on its way back and...
Oh, I understood it as it's on its way back close to Earth, and so Nasun's gonna like chuck it into the planet. Asun's gonna catch it.
I guess I just kind of assumed that Alabaster yanked it into orbit for the next time. But that was probably an assumption because he's already blown up a lot of shit.
Yeah, I think they said...
He said he used his power to pull it in last time, right? And then it was going to be up to Asun to catch it.
And put it into orbit.
And when I understood it as catch it, is if you don't, we're fucked. Well, I wasn't missing. I was seeing it as if
Oh,
you don't
crashing.
change it,
Yeah.
because I was in a bad spot back then, bud. Like, or maybe he had the goal of catching it.
Yeah,
But to guarantee a catch, you're probably going to aim a little closer to yourself.
for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I took it the other way, but there's definitely nothing like concrete either way.
Right. And I think if she's needing, I don't know, who knows? Like, I don't feel like Nassim really knows what she's doing. No one knows what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
They're all feeling it out as it's happening. Like,
For sure.
I think it's even explicitly said, like, I don't know what I'm doing, so let's just go with it.
Yeah.
Just like that. With the...
Yeah. Leonard, do you think the plutonic engine is the same as the obelisk gate?
I read that as like two different ways of looking at it. It might also just mean the collection of obelisks rather than just one thing. Like the plutonic engine could just be all the obelisks as a system. I don't know. It's really hard to speculate with that little information.
This is why I don't throw questions to you, Leonard, because everyone is, I don't know. We don't have enough information.
We really don't, right? Like
Well,
right
I
now
hope.
we can guess whatever we want, but the next chapter is like, oh yeah, we are so wrong.
All right.
It's okay to be wrong. I mean, I've thrown out crazy ass ideas.
Literally the dumbest ideas I've ever heard.
See?
Yeah.
I guess that's just my job. Whoa!
So, yeah, I don't really think it's the Onyx. I think it's the whole thing, the entire system.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna combine.
That's what it sounds.
Yeah, that sounds right to me too. Kalenli. Any idea what her deal is, Lexi?
Like what her whole deal is?
Yeah.
She's a revolutionary. She is the perfect prototype. She is enlightened.
I have a prediction that I just thought of when we first started talking about this. So you got Gallet, who's the conductor. He's got the white skin. And then maybe she's his daughter, and he's the one that like designed all the Stone Eaters. Or something like that.
I
I
don't
don't
think
know if
they're
she has
Stone
white
Eaters
skin
yet.
or not. I don't remember. No, they're not
Yeah, I
Stone
don't
Eaters yet, but
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know what else to call them. They don't give them a name. I mean,
What
they're
was
humans.
Well,
when they described Shafa at the beginning, they said that he had the rare, desirable type. I forgot what they called it. It's not Warren, right? Warren is where he's from, but there was like something like East Coast. It's not East Coaster, but they had like a certain term for it. I just don't remember it right now.
Yeah. All right.
What was Alabaster Stone Eater's name?
antimony.
Antimony. Do you think that's antimony?
That
No.
was. Yeah. I did have a prediction for later that I do think Steel is one of the Stone Eaters that we see in this chapters.
Mhm.
Maybe the
Yeah.
lady, but more likely the guy that he's arguing with or whatever.
Correct me if
I think
I'm
some of
wrong. But doesn't Hoa have a real fondness for Asun because Asun reminds him of Kalenli?
I think so, although not in looks.
I thought it was
Yeah.
in looks too.
So what he did was he described Kalenli just like her, but then he says she doesn't actually look like you. I don't remember what she looks like,
okay.
but I'm projecting basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
I do think some of the Stone Eaters right now are the ones from the flashbacks. They had different names in flashbacks. I don't quite remember, but I think Steel, Antimony, Hoa, they're all from that same group.
Yeah, I think we'll find out that at least some of them are. Yeah. Not to mention everybody who's a named character in this book shows up again in other places, which we're going to get to right now with Asun's storyline. The people of Castrima are traveling to Reninus. Asun is recovering from the battle at Castrima, her arm turned to stone. As she recovers, she lets Hoa eat her arm. Ika is pissed at Asun for destroying Castrima. Asun wants to go find Nasun, but Tanki convinces her that she's unlikely to find her. But Tanki also offers to go with her, leaving Harka behind. Asun is touched, but decides to stay. The Castrimans come to a black forest of stone, made by an orogeny. Asun goes to talk to Ika and make peace. Ika is upset because Asun doesn't think of it as her calm and doesn't think about the future. This is rich considering there probably wouldn't be a future for Castrima if Asun didn't wipe out Reninus. But Ika takes Asun to see the prisoners from the Battle of Reninus. She kills one of them who would have been a problem and lets the rest join their calm. They make camp in the stone forest, knowing that someone is going to attack during the night. As the attack begins, Ika tells them that there is no need for a fight. They will let them join, orogenies and all. A group of 20 to 30 comless attack and get wiped out. Asun has gained magic night vision and can see more people hiding in the forest. She approaches one who is hiding in a tree and talks to him. He creates a Taurus which she snuffs out, costing her a breast. The guy hiding is Maxix. He's lost both his legs and has breathed in too much ash. They reminisce over the past. Asun says she'll talk to Ika about letting them join them.
Old friends, minus a few limbs.
Minus a few. And
Half.
Yeah. So, when Hoa eats her arm, he says it's not sustenance, because they only need life to live. Do you think they collect life, or they just need it in their bodies? What do you think, Rick?
I think that was inferring that they just needed to exist to live, not that they're absorbing. He's not absorbing life force. He's doing her a favor by helping her ascend into her Stone Eater form. I think it's just they're golems. Like, they just exist. They live because they live, and that was the statement. If there's nobody, perhaps it could be something along the lines of, if nobody's alive in the world, maybe they have no more purpose. They just cease to exist, is the concept. But it's kind of hard to say. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's something as silly as, like, all these obelisks are actually just, like, sucking down the life force of everybody passively through their, like, whatever reasons. And that's just fun feeling them. Just the fact that life exists on the planet, which is why they don't give a shit, really, if the planet gets destroyed, as long as there's still life on the planet. But if you want a definite 100% correct answer, it's because they're immortal.
Excellent. It did make me think.
Like, just I'm gonna be the opposite of Leonard. Just saying.
Yeah.
I'm committing.
It did make me think. What if this life that they're talking about is the magic, and so, they can travel through stone, they go through the earth all the time, and what if they just keep going down to that magic? Nasun found the magic under the volcano, or Nasun, and they just have to pass through there every once in a while, get more magic.
Earth
I don't
juice,
know. I don't think that's likely.
Subterranean moon juice.
There you go.
That is wrong.
Assuming the moon is where the magic's coming from, kind of. Originally. Yeah. Well, I mean, they specify that they're there was a comment towards you would know if the moon's coming. Maybe that's.
No, I remember.
Yeah.
I think Shafa says that. Yeah.
And that might have been a spoiler for our next section. Was that in this book or was that last book?
No, that's this book.
No, that was
Oh, okay.
That was in the reading.
Yeah.
We're beyond spoilers.
Yeah. So,
Cool. So Tanki offers to leave with Asun in one of the few possibly nice moments in this series. Lexi, what do you think of this gesture, and what do you think Tanki's motivations were?
I think Tanki and Asun are a family of sorts. And yeah, Tanki has Yarka, but ultimately I think her loyalties and curiosity really about Asun, even from when she was a little girl, she's gonna stick by Asun's side. And of course Asun is loner and I don't need nobody. like really surprised by this.
Yeah. So do you think it was mostly, friendship motivated? Or, because, I mean, she's literally been studying Asun for decades.
I think it can be both. I think it's like Asun is her like life research project, but she can also like Asun as a friend, despite Asun being the worst.
Not a good friend.
Not a good friend.
Whoa, Lexi just said Asun was the worst.
I still Asun
We've
Asun
come
is
so
gonna
far.
save us all. Like
Okay.
she's the best, but like she does. I don't think she'd be fun to party with.
Okay. I think Tonki's
agree.
got sunk cost fallacy going on right now.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. I mean, she's invested. This is it. Like, I invested my whole life into researching you. I'm not gonna fucking leave you now. Like, you know what? She's probably pissed. She just had a really cool new toy blown up because, well, maybe not super blown up, but like,
She lost her arm.
pretty blown up. Yeah.
Yeah,
They
there
can be armless together. They can like hug each other and like.
Wait, what arms
Each
were
other's-
lost? Her right arm and what arm did Tonki? No,
I don't remember,
They
I think it was her right
reattached
arm.
it.
yeah, they reattached it.
but it's not the same.
They could just cut it off again, sew them
Yeah.
both together at the shoulder.
Exactly.
So.
I do think there's probably some, Taki's the smartest one in this book because everyone else is kind of idiots. And I think she knows, like, between her and Asun, like, between the knowledge of the two of them, they might have enough to save the world. Whereas if Asun goes off on her own, she's going to fuck it up and just kill a bunch of people again.
Have we got any updates on the yellow sphere?
No.
That can poke holes in people?
No. They are headed back to Tiramo, though. I mean, they're headed that direction where the library is. I'm just saying. Remember the library from, like, chapter 2?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So
Isn't it pretty obvious why Tonki is following her? I mean, she spent her whole life researching Obelisk, right? You literally have one following as soon. Like, who better to go
Yeah.
with?
exactly, sunk cost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
And-
she also could consider her a friend.
Well,
It
sure.
can be both.
Nah.
Friends with benefits.
Oh.
Oh.
I don't think it's those kind of benefits, guys. I think it's saving the world kind of benefits.
So
The better kind.
we haven't seen this in a while, but like, do you think it's going to be something along the lines of Origine versus the obelisks in general, as far as the final confrontation? Because like, or is it going to be a combined effort to like catch this moon thing? Because we haven't seen stealing of powers a ton in this series. I don't know where I'm going. Like, as far as do you think
So
it's
you're
going to be
talking about, like,
confrontational?
I think
a
it's
little
going
off
to be
topic.
Asun versus Nasun.
Sure, it's going to be Asun versus Nasun, but Nasun has never stolen another Origine's powers before. Hasn't been
No.
able to link up powers.
But she
So do
just
you
does
think-
everything by instinct or knowledge she gets from the obelisk.
Exactly.
So-
Do you think she's going to end up taking over the obelisks? Like, managing the gate, whereas Asun's going to have to do the classic, the power of friendship, get all the remaining Origine's powers together to try to fight this.
They
No?
actually did
I
kind
did.
of describe it, right? In the flashbacks, they said that some people are better tuned to certain obelisks, so it feels like Asun may have the Onyx now, but it is possible for Nasun to wrestle it from her if she's better tuned to that obelisk. At least it implies that.
I just
When
think
they-
that's going to... yeah, I think that's going to be a final... Like, I think that's going to be a strong part of the final fight, is going to be, like, Asun's just got the obelisks, and it's going to be a wrestle of it. Sorry. That was just, like, a mildly unrelated.
No. I like it. So before the attack, we see Yika tries to convince Asun to start thinking more like a head woman. Leonard, any part of this conversation resonate with you? Do you think Yika's right that she needs to start thinking more about the comm?
Did she, like, Asun?
Yeah. Do you think
Yeah,
Asun
I mean-
needs to start thinking more about the comm?
I thought she made it pretty clear, right? She's pissed because Asun still doesn't consider herself to be part of the com, even after everything they've been through. Yeah, I mean, I thought her final like monologue, not really monologue, her little demonstration with the prisoner was pretty clear cut. Like why she's not happy about Esun, and how Esun is still always thinking from just her own perspective and not from the com's perspective. How just even when they talk, right, Esun is always I, and Ika goes by we. It's basically just that simple.
Lexi, you agree?
Yeah, so I agree that's what Ika's wanting Asun to do. And then we see some character development where Asun does correct herself when talking to her old classmate or gritmate.
Steve.
I can't say that. Maxix.
Yeah. Maxix. Yeah.
And
One thing that So what really puzzled me during the Esun sequence is that now she can't use Origine without turning to stone anymore.
Yeah.
Is it because she's reached a new level of understanding and she can stop it, or is it like pause? Right?
Okay, hold on. Was it actually Origine that's turning her to stone in this thing? I thought she was avoiding the Origine because she fucking broke everything. But anytime she barely touched magic, because didn't she use magic at the end against the buddy when it pressed her?
I think she did.
She used it to quell his Origine, but by quelling his Origine, a part of her was going to turn to stone. So the difference was she could direct that energy to whatever part of her body, right? So she chose her left breast. That means now when she uses Origine, there's a cost to it. But
was it Origine she used to quell him, or was it magic she used to quell him? Because I thought it was magic. Oh, okay. So I think it was the magic part that caused it, not the Origine.
But she can't seem to use Origine anymore without using magic, right?
But she's sussing everywhere, right? And they kind of addressed it when she was put on watch. Like maybe you shouldn't be using Origine, and she's kind of questioning her ability to use Origine and what might happen. And I don't think it's because of what might happen because of the stoning. It might be what might happen because she's like Lynx
doesn't have full control.
Onyx, and might blow up a whole fucking town trying to do something.
Yeah, she's old hat at that.
She's a little practice, yes.
Yeah, I took it the same way Rick did, where it's if she's manipulating magic, then she turns, a bit into stone.
A bit. A whole arm, a whole boob.
Yeah.
It's a lot. The cost is high.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, I had.
There's only one boob.
Hoa. Like when she chose to let Hoa have her arm, and Hoa said this is not sustenance, right? I think what what the Stone Eaters really are doing, same with Alabaster, is that they're collecting the pieces so that when they fully turn to stone, they reassemble them. I don't think they're actually eating the stone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's helping the ascension.
Yeah. Ascension.
That's what it is. I mean, I think it's ascension. I think it's like becoming immortal, gaining infinite cosmic power, and being able to like slide through rock.
I think it depends how much of like the original person's mind is still there, right?
So the theory I had is I think their civilization already discovered a way to transfer consciousness. I think what's really happening is that when they fully turn to stone, then the Stone Eaters perform whatever procedure they had from back then. That's how they become like kind of Stone Eaters. So the cost of using the obelisk to tap into whatever powers turn flesh to stone, and they technically die, but they can transfer their consciousness back into that body. I'm not really sure. Because think about it this way, the Stone Eaters can also phase, right? They go through Earth like it's nothing. Remember when we talked about the past earlier, their cars could phase? I think that body, they're collecting the parts to do whatever tech they have on it from the past.
They're not cyborgs, they're holograms.
They're very sturdy holograms.
Dude, have you ever seen Star Trek? They just use force fields to do that shit. Why not? And they're just downloading the brain. They're robots. We're back
They
to
probably
robots.
install something in the stone bodies after they
Yeah, full circle
become
robots.
host.
I like it. I'm with Leonard. I'm with the cyborg robot holograms. Leonard's idea.
All right, I'm gonna get us back on track a little bit here.
Oh my god, fine.
How dare you?
Back to the original question was talking. Yika tries to convince Asun to start thinking more like a head woman. I actually disagreed with this pretty hard because Asun's priority should be saving the world, not this comm, and the comm should be focused on keeping her alive, not the other way around.
Ooh, Daniel, I actually disagree with you.
Her job is
Yeah.
way more important than
Oh
anything
no,
else.
this whole premise is the fact that she's just neglecting people around her, which is why everyone dies. I think her
I know.
considering the calm is what's going to allow her to actually save the world. If she doesn't, she's just going to save the world.
Okay, I think the big theme of this book is that this world sucks. And this calm is unlike any other thing that's ever been done before, right?
Sure.
You have a calm with Raga leadership and Ragas in it living peacefully with the stills.
Do we just call him Raga now? Is that what we do?
It's easier for me to say than Origine.
Yika doesn't know
So
she's trying to
get
save
it.
the world. Right?
This comm is like saving her humanity.
But you save the world, but then what is the world? Right? You're saving the world, but it needs to be a better place, right? This satisfies what Nasoon wants to do too. Well, what she would, how she wishes the world was.
Yeah.
I think this is really important for this story. That at least they're trying to create a better world.
I'm not saying it's not important for the story. I'm saying if I was in this comm, I would be like, let's protect this one person that might be able to save the world, rather
Yika
than
doesn't know though. Has Esun that straight up told her that I need the ability to save
Okay.
the world?
if I was Asun, I would be like, you guys should protect me. I might be able to save the world.
Yeah.
That's a little too smart for this.
Because
think
I don't
that
think
would
Esun has
apply.
the full picture either. I don't think any one of them have the full picture of what they can do and what they should be doing.
No, but
Right.
Asun knows she's trying to save the world and gonna try to catch the moon and end the seasons.
She
That-
has a
yeah.
feeling. I don't know if she's concluded that it would actually save the world.
No,
I think Alabaster.
That's the
Kinda
other thing that
implies
bugs
that.
me. Where the hell did he go? He showed
Right?
up with antimony, right? And then
Yeah.
now they've just not been mentioned at all.
Then swimming through the earth.
I'm
So
sure
the
he
people with the
definitely
information
won't-
always just fuck off for some reason.
I'm sure he definitely won't be showing up right at the end of the book.
No,
After
he's
they
gone.
figured
He's
things
gone
out.
for the rest of the book. He's done. He said his piece, did his thing.
Yeah.
He's gonna talk like Yoda when he shows up. Understood, you have.
Oh no.
So they get attacked this night. It's a group of about 20 to 30 people attacking. They've mentioned that this comm is about 1,000 people. You think all commlists are this dumb, or was there some greater plan at work?
I think they're just fucking
Desperate
desperate.
times.
Desperate.
Just suicide?
It was
Why
described
not?
as desperation, right?
Yeah, suicide. You're gonna die regardless. You gotta try.
I mean, except
They're
she
already-
just yelled out "Hey, we could help.
Yeah.
You can join our comm."
But think
I
about
think
it.
she did
though.
yell it out on the other side though, so maybe they didn't hear.
Okay, so how many months has the season started now at this point?
So 2 years.
Right. A comm that's left where they were means they don't have resources, which means they're probably desperate. Attacking travelers in this case means they probably already weakened from hunger, all this other kind of stuff. They're already probably realistically, people traveling are either an army or not doing great.
Guys, I just want to look down on these group of idiots.
I'm
Can you
just-
just let me have this, please?
We cannot, because if you wanted
They're
to
so
just
stupid.
be-
They deserve death.
if you just want people to agree
No.
with you, you probably chose the wrong group of people to argue with
I
online.
mean,
Right?
Yika's comm needed meat, so the author decided to give them some meat.
I'm just saying, if they're not an army, clearly they're not. I mean, they probably saw they're not an army, rather, right?
Yeah.
So they're probably hurting a little bit. Worth attacking,
Definitely not. But I mean, it's literally just suicide.
right? Desperate.
Yeah.
Plus, they thought they were gonna have the backing of an origine.
Yeah.
Which can just do mass damage.
True. True. All right. So Soon finds Maxix in the forest. I think that makes Crack as the only person left from Demaya's storyline that we haven't run into. So Rick, you think we're gonna find Crack and one of the node maintainers up north around Reninus?
I mean, probably. Like, they keep referencing the node maintainers, but I feel like there's something more. Like, not a normal node maintainer. Like, why else would we be holding on to this? So like, if she just ends up being a regular fucking like node maintainer with a little bit of her brain gone, it's gonna be super disappointing. I need to see some like she actually turned into a guardian or some shit. You know?
Holy
Crack?
shit.
Like, I need to see, Crack. I need, like, if they're gonna bring her back, I want her more than just a sad node maintainer. I need her to like have some kind of either redemption or villain arc, like something. She doesn't have to be major, just enough to like make it more interesting than they just kind of gave her a lobotomy and chucked her in a tower. Like,
They probably use her to breed a lot more originy children.
yeah, they could, and that would be a horrible thing, but I could see that happening. That's like, as horrible as it sounds, that sounds interesting.
Leonard, do you think Yika's gonna allow Maxix to join?
Yeah,
I
think so.
You think so?
She seems the sort to. She seems the sort to. I mean, she was already going to offer that option before Esun even knew it was Maxis, right?
Yeah.
And now that you have Esun's introduction, I'm actually like 99% sure she's going to allow Maxis to join.
I could see an argument against it just because, like, how does he, like, everyone's got to hold their own. He can't even walk.
Well,
I think he can move. He just,
Does he have no legs?
Yeah, I think he like walks on his stumps and his arms though.
Okay.
Thing is, he's still a powerful originator. I mean, 5 or 6 rings is no joke, right? Like, and I think Yika really believes in the bigger com, stronger com concept, and she wants to make a com of both for both origini and stills, and you know what better option than this little group of outcasts.
Wasn't there a still? Didn't the still who with the bugs lose his legs, and that's why they killed him?
Mm-hmm.
I do believe so.
Yeah, okay. I don't think she's gonna take them. If she's gonna take any, she's only gonna take the able-bodied people.
The benefit he has is, you're right, he's got some magical powers.
Yeah. I don't. Maybe they take Maxix, but they don't feed him since he's got the ashy lung, and like he's probably gonna die soon. So
yeah, we'll hurry it along.
I mean, if anything, like, remember when they said that they were on rotations, and they said that, you know, the originies don't sleep because in fear of an ambush, and what happens when they get interrupted with sleep. So if you have more originies on rotation, perhaps more of them can get rest. I don't know. I feel like it's a perfectly logical solution to take him in.
I think he's definitely going to be there, but I think just because, why introduce him otherwise?
Right, it's gonna be like they're gonna have. It's not just gonna be easy. It's not gonna be like, yep, come on over. It's gonna be like a conversation piece.
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
Plus, Yika always needs a bigger network.
I think Asun needs the network for connecting to all the people.
Yeah, but somehow Yika knows how to use it though.
Yeah. All right, Lexi. In the next chapter, would you like a scene where Hoa eats Asun's breast right in front of Lerna?
Oh, poor Lerna.
That
would be amazing.
And do you think Lerna is still interested?
Yeah. Hell yeah. They've been.
Oh, hell yeah.
They've been foreshadowing this for like several chapters now. Just in the last like.
But now he knows she's literally going to turn to stone.
Yeah, come back as a stone badass.
So, also sounds like sex and relationships in this world is a little bit more like nonchalant than like in our society.
Sure.
So I don't think that it's
Yeah. I still think he's the spy.
I don't think that they are gonna have like a lustful, passionate thing. But I think Lerna cares deeply for Asun, and to be there when she dies, holding her hand.
I think he
She's
hates
gonna
her.
end up. She's gonna.
Do you
end
think
up
he
having
hates
this kid.
her?
Yeah. I
He's
think
a secret guardian.
no. I think we ruled that out a couple episodes ago with a lot of ridiculous conversation. But I think his family was probably killed when she left Tiramo, and Steele came to her came to him and was like, "Hey, go spy on these people," or something. Somebody came to him, and that's why he's been like her puppy, and that's why he got to Castrima before her. That's my guess. A Stone Eater could have brought him right outside Castrima
It's true.
way faster. Anyway, just a theory.
I think she's gonna end up having his kid and having a hard decision about leaving the calm.
Makes you wonder why Hoa didn't use that earlier.
Use what?
Instant
When she was
transmission.
injured?
Yeah, or just
Yeah.
any time. There's a lot of times where you could have used it.
For sure.
Yeah.
I do get the impression it's not very comfortable for them.
It's not comfortable for the human side of them, at least.
But I think it's not super comfortable for the other ones, too.
the Stone Eaters themselves.
Yeah, and I would guess it makes them susceptible to attack
Maybe, yeah.
because they can't let go of the human. But who knows?
There's a lot of people I can't let go of either.
Aww.
Oh, no.
Question mark?
No.
In a
Corpses.
creepy way.
Yeah, in the creepiest way. Sorry, I didn't mean for that to sound like nice.
Yeah. All right, should we move on to Nasun? Anyone got anything left on Esun's?
Adventure. She got real good at not using her power to suss out specifically
like
where
everything
the dude
that's
was.
around her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her magic night vision.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Nasun. Another short one. A lot of just people walking around in these chapters and chatting.
Usually the Two Towers is the second book. Whatever the tower. What is it?
Yeah, the
What?
Two Towers. Lord of the Rings.
Oh, because they walk around a lot in that?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Nasun has just turned Jija to stone. Bless her. The Guardians Umber and Nita see this and move to kill her. Shafa kills Umber, and Nasun tries to fight Nita, but is about to lose when Steel steps in and kills Nita. The next day, Shafa and all the Erogenate children of Found Moon leave. They travel until evening, and Shafa tells the other kids that they're on their own. Nasun tells Shafa that she needs to go to the other side of the world, to Core Point. She admits that she means to end the world. Even if she had a way to fix it, she would still end it. Nasun gets directions to Core Point from Steel. Steel tells her a bit about her mother's situation and how he wanted to use her to kill everyone. It takes Nasun and Shafa a month to get to the station that will take them to the Core Point. While Shafa sleeps, Nasun gives him a little bit of magic, which helps him sleep more comfortably. She finds herself regenerating magic because of this. The station is a tunnel that runs all the way through the planet to Core Point. They go through a forest and reach the station. In the station, they take a stairwell down, headed to Warrant.
So they went to the bus station.
Yeah, the bus station that is apparently a stairwell through the core of the planet. With a pit stop at Warrant, maybe?
Yeah.
But
I like. But
oh no, you go.
I like that she gives the juice. She's like, he wants the juice. I give the juice.
Yeah, and then starts regenerating it like
Right.
faster, presumably making her into the OP Omega bad or Mega Boss at the end of this book.
Mega boss, mega. They're gonna. She's
Protagonist, whatever.
Yeah.
We can have a discussion about whether there's a protagonist in this book later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
clearly it's Shafa.
Oh.
It's Jija.
Hold
He already
on,
died.
hold on. Shafa now
No.
is like, hold on. Do you think Shafa's still kind of a huge dick? Because Shafa's like, Nasun, I back you. You want to blow up the world? Sure. You want to save the world? Sure. I'm game for your plans. Fuck the Earth. Fuck Esun. Fuck everybody else. What do you want to do? You're innocent, like you're innocent, but like that's. I feel like that is like strong redemption arc material, if not misguided. But
All right. All right. This is one of my questions. So,
is it? Did I just answer? I'm so sorry.
no. Shafa says to Nesun, "You're my redemption. You are all the children I should have loved and protected, even from myself." This is a ridiculous statement, obviously. But do you think this redeems Shafa even a little bit?
Yeah, I think I just went through a big rant about it.
Not you. Literally anyone else.
Damn.
That's the worst take I've ever heard.
You can go ahead and go, Leonard.
I actually don't know how I feel about this because you know his past, right? And I don't think it's that simple to just redeem yourself. And it feels like he has a really weird spot in the story now too. It's as if, instead of the author killing him, decided to reuse his character, give him a redemption arc, just so Nasun has a guide.
But
and it doesn't feel like Shafa has offered a lot of information, and also so it looks like just an excuse to still have a guardian in the story that will slow drip us some information as to the guardian's past. I feel like that's his role right now. He's there for the drip, not really.
Okay, but hold on. The Guardians are clearly like puppets of the Earth, right? We know this now. We know, or whatever deep entity, whatever antagonist entity there is, they're clearly super powered puppets.
But
this puppet,
really...
Shafa, finally is starting to break against it. Like it's weaning. He's still a little crazy, but like that connection, that thread is getting thin enough to where he's actively fighting back, and a lot of that is to do because of Nasun and a couple other things that's happened in the story. And Nasun's the option where he can finally start, like, he's got the ambition to fight against the evil that's been controlling him the whole story up until now. Like, are you evil if something is actively controlling you and like forcing you through massive manipulation to do these actions?
So you think Father Earth has something against people with orogeny?
I think not necessarily. I mean, controlling them. He wants to control them. It's not like an against. They're tools. And that's exactly what they're being used for. They're tools. And he wants to collect them that can control the obelisk to bring whatever the like, maybe kill the life on the planet. So maybe not.
That's the part that confuses me, because it feels like at different points of the story, sometimes Earth seems to favor the people with origin and sometimes they don't. Like, if they really wanted to teach them the powers to control the obelisk through the fulcrum, why withheld that information from them? Why is their education so limited?
Well, maybe that's the entire point of the Guardians, is to stop them from being able to touch that power, to stop them from destroying the Earth by bringing the moon back to destroy the planet.
Why not just use the Guardians to kill them? Because clearly the Guardians have the power to eliminate the origin. So that's the part that feels inconsistent. Like, if they wanted to stop the threat, it's easier to just go after them with the Guardians. But clearly they have some other goal in mind. But yet they limit their education of origin so.
But the only time so far that we've seen any kind of interaction with that is after the moon's been flung away. After the moon, we're assuming the moon flinging away is what starts all the seasons at this point. Fair?
Yes.
Yeah. So now you've got a knife to the Earth's throat, Father Earth's throat. That moon's gonna come back. Now, do you get rid of all the originy that can potentially protect you from that moon coming back and obliterating you, essentially? Or do you maintain enough control and try to maintain like an organization that might be able to control it to try to either catch it and do this? I think maybe Father Earth's on Esun's side, technically, only in the sense that they don't want all of Earth, like all of life breaking, but still a fucking dick.
If it's on Esun's side, why did the Shirtless Guardian try to kill Esun?
Well, I'm saying Esun's side is in the we don't want the Earth to explode side. Like, they have a common goal, but Nasun can potentially fulfill that goal. But up until now, Father Earth thinks, oh, maybe Shafa's going to help Nasun do this goal now. And now Father Earth's quickly becoming either hasn't realized it yet or still trying to think he can get control of Shafa to control Nisun. Like, he's got an agent there to help facilitate the protection of himself. Regardless, he doesn't have an agent at all with Asun. Asun, and doesn't know what Asun's up to. Has no clue, right? There's no sight.
Then how do you explain Shafa keeps having to resist the urge to kill Nasu?
Yeah.
So how does that fit in?
I don't know because I didn't think it through.
Yeah. That's the whole relationship here I find very, very hard to piece together because it feels like at different times there was some contradicting information, and yeah.
That's it. The whole point of killing Nasun now, though, is because Nasun's being a positive influence on Shafa, an anti-Earth Shafa. Now it's time to kill Nasun. Nasun wants to blow up the Earth. Maybe not originally. Did he always want to kill Nasun? Or did he just want to control Nasun before?
He wanted to control her before.
Right. But now Nasun's like, I might blow up the world. Time to murder her. Or still try to control her. Earth is alive. Just saying.
Got a thought, Lexi?
Yeah, I don't think it's strictly Nasun that has thrown Shafa into this thing, right? It's the deal that he made with Father Earth when he was drowning in the last book, right? Like,
why does he need to make the deal though? They've already been, implanted with that from the beginning. That's the part that also confuses me.
He was dying, and the magic saved him.
Yeah, that's true. But they've already had that iron thing in their head.
But it's not the iron isn't a source of the magic, right? It's a conduit, and it shows up when they need it.
Do you think it was Father Earth that he made the deal with?
I don't know, actually.
What if it was Moon Juice?
Moon Juice is far away.
Kind of. Moon Juice is far away, but what if it wasn't actually the planet that he made the deal with?
I hope we get more clarity on the silver.
I don't expect any of this, by the way. I expect a bunch of things left undone for some weird.
I know. I am not excited about that. Like, it just feels like there's so much stuff to resolve, and I don't think we're going to resolve it in the next 2/3
of one book. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of faith.
Daniel. Good on you.
It is the last book. It should be resolved. I don't know. Yeah.
There's like a comic that they put out afterwards. She ran out of budget and had to put it like a.
Really? I thought it was an OVA of some sort.
It wasn't OVA. No, the OVAs told the stories from the beginning, but
we should watch that together when we're all done.
What's that?
We were not serious.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what exists. I'm just making
we're making fun of anime tropes.
Yep.
I love OVAs, so
I don't even know what they are.
They're basically generally anime movies that retell the story. They don't always, but they're generally retell the story of the whole arc closer to what the manga was. It's not always the case.
Alternate endings sometimes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like they're not happy with the original. They come up with one episode that's just a different ending.
Hellsing OVAs, for example, went the Hellsing anime kind of did its own thing, but the Hellsing OVA started telling the story of just the manga. It was so the first OVA was pretty much spot on for the first season of Hellsing, and then went on. Anyway, this is a huge tangent. So next question, not anime related, Daniel.
I'm actually going to take us back a second to how ridiculous this redemption, or thinking that he's redeeming himself at all is. So, his quote is, give me a second. His quote is literally, "You're my redemption. You were all the children I should have loved and protected, even from myself." What happened 2 pages earlier was he told 8 children to go fuck off down a road on their own and possibly kill a bunch of people if you need to.
Because they don't matter. They don't even have names, Daniel.
You are all the children I should have loved and protected.
They have no potential, Daniel.
Okay, but to be fair, we are still in at this point, super post-apocalyptic world, which a bunch of superpower kids who can probably get whatever they fucking want. if they go in the right way.
You know what the other conversation they had immediately before this was? Should we have killed them? It would have been easier. It would have been the right thing to do.
It
It would have been
been.
easier for them.
Killing children's fine, Daniel. Why don't you get about this?
I'm just
Okay.
saying.
But
This is not a redemption arc for Shafa.
okay. I actually do feel like as big of a redemption as you can get for Shafa, this is what we're gonna get. Like this is
Sure.
a point where he's making his own decisions. Is he a good guy? That's up for debate.
No,
I-
Not
it's
really.
not. It's
I
not.
say he's fine, but
This is like
realistically though,
His redemption arc is instead of like torturing or killing 100% of children, it's like 99% now. Like slow clap for him, I guess. I don't know.
what is the percentage of 17 originate plus 1? All right, it's a
Okay.
little bit more than 1%. I'm just saying.
Difference is they couldn't control Obelisk. Only one of them could. So
I'm pretty
Right.
sure if there
Well,
were
but
1,000
potentially
children
more than-
there and none of them were as powerful as Nasun, he still would have left 999 of them.
This is true. I do not argue against that. Because that's all that matters. So I do still think that as much as we're gonna get as of a redemption arc for him, to
Sure.
not just be a flat out asshole the entire book series, this is it, right? Because he's at least making his own decisions now. I feel like he gets a little bit of slack for everything prior to his drowning because he was completely controlled.
I would say he gets a little bit of slack, but that doesn't justify what he did or what he's doing now.
I'm not saying
And
it's justified.
I don't think just blindly following an abused 10-year-old girl and letting
So-
her destroy the world is a redemption arc.
Whoa! No. He
that's another way
said
to look at
he
it.
said I support you. He's being supportive. dude. He's saying
That's true.
You
He is
choose
doing
what
that.
you want in the future, and I support you. And I feel like that's a really nice gesture.
So this can be a different kind of redemption too, though. Maybe not to his past, but to Demaya. Like, I think he already knows that Nasun is Demaya's kid. I think it's
I
his.
got him convinced.
No, I mean, I keep thinking that he's only protecting Nasun because she's related to Demaya. That's one of my other theories, where I think he's trying to use her to eventually make it up to Demaya. Like, I have a feeling that this book is gonna end with something Shafa does for Demaya.
Does
Or
Shafa
Nasun.
know that this is Asun's kid?
Yeah.
Pretty sure he knows enough to
But-
respect.
I
He
think
But
doesn't-
how?
he's assuming.
Nasun
Like-
is asking questions about us.
Oh, because they look alike, even though they look like the other. Even though
Yeah,
earlier
even though
they
he
said
looks like Jija. She
Yeah.
looks like Jija. Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Look familiar, Fulcrum training, and
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
the
okay,
teachings
okay.
from her mom. I
Like,
feel like he has
this-
enough to know.
Nasun is straight up asking about her mom
Okay.
to Shafa.
I think she was
Yeah.
asking about the fulcrum, not
The fulcrum,
specifically
yeah.
about her mom.
Yeah, I think there's still going to be I feel like there's going to be a shocker moment for Shafa still. Like maybe he thought it, but I don't think that it's going to happen till the final fight or
Yeah.
whatever.
Okay.
I wish we found out more about Guardians. I still can't believe how little we know about them. And
They are going to
to
Warrant right now, the home of the Guardians. So
I know. We'll find out in the next 6 chapters or whatever we're reading.
Yeah.
But it just
Alright.
feels so late.
let's move on a bit.
Okay.
So right after killing her father, Nasun thinks the stabbing is the outcome of an impossible choice he demanded of her, to be either his daughter or an Erogeny. She refused to commit existential suicide. He refused to suffer an Erogeny to live. There was no malice in either of them in that final moment, only the grim violence of inevitability. Lexi, you agree with her assessment that there
I
was no
do.
malice in either of them?
Yes, I do agree. Like we, as outsiders, people looking in might attribute malice. However, I think in putting ourselves into those characters, that is the choice. It's black or white, right?
Mm.
We have some nuance that they do not have.
Sure.
That-
Go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say up until about a week ago, I probably would have disagreed with you. That's all.
What happened a week ago?
Culling things because I needed to,
Oh.
and I feel like it's a similar mindset.
Yeah.
I think we've seen enough of Jija and his blind rage and his hatred for Erogenes to know that there was definitely malice on his side. I can see how there's not any on hers, right? Like, she didn't want to do that.
So
And she gave him every chance to not commit suicide by orogeny.
Jija had anger issues.
let's just.
Jija definitely had anger issues. But
He had depression. He
if
wasn't
he
getting
also,
treated.
but if he legitimately thought this was a sickness that needed to go away, and
Yeah.
after all this treatment, it didn't go away, and it's not going to go away, and like she's going to live for the. Not only is she going to live with the sickness, but she wants the sickness, and it can literally kill their entire. Well, okay, so they weren't there to find out that their previous calm got murdered by his ex-wife. I guess they're still married, wife, and. But
I like to take some of the things people say and apply them to like the hidden meanings behind the book where they're talking about racism, and you're like, he was okay to try to kill her. He thought he was doing the right thing because their people are a sickness.
I'm
Okay.
not
On the
saying
world.
I believe he
Okay.
was right
I know.
when I
I'm
say that there was
saying.
an argument for why.
You start
Like-
putting Jija as the racist, which is obviously what this book is going for.
Right.
Then I think you'd be much less quick to excuse it with
Did-
literally what
So-
you just said.
Again, making the argument.
We talk about malice though, like we're talking about like motive, right? And
Yeah.
like Jija was a violent person, right? But I don't think it was. I don't think he wanted to kill his daughter just to see her harmed, right? Like he was killing her because she was incurable, right? She was crazy.
Is a mercy.
Sure. Yeah.
It was, yeah. And so I think that's what the author is speaking to about like the inevitability. Like it was just logic. It was never going to work out.
I was about to say something that probably shouldn't be said on the podcast, but I was going to. But still, like I get what you're saying, Daniel. I agree with your statement
Okay.
when it's considered as a racial side of it, but I don't think that in this world they're considering it necessarily as a racial thing as much as a disease, right?
So
But then they do also address that they're just not human, which kind of leads over to the racist thing too. So it's kind of like it depends on how you see it. Is if they see it as a disease, an incurable disease, and you're doing a kindness, or if you see it as a subhuman race that don't deserve to live. And I don't think that Jija thinks that they're a subhuman race that don't deserve to live. I think Jija sees it as an infliction. That's a disease that is better for them and everyone else that they don't exist any longer.
And I think that same mindset does exist in racism today.
It
Where-
does.
Exactly. Like there are some that are like want to see people suffer, but there are others that think of it in this like higher level of they are afflicted, they should die, they should not breed, kind of thing.
Well, I'm a little agreeing / disagreeing, but yeah.
In Rick's defense, I guess there is the fact that the stills are not entirely like it's not a 1-to-1 correlation of like racism and this world, orogenies, right? Racism in our world and orogenies in this world and how they're viewed, because the orogenies are super fucking dangerous and like are blowing up towns left and right and destroying the world, and so it's not it's not.
Well, and it's not a race. It's an affliction. Like Stills birth origines. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's not a hate of a particular like it sucks that they were born with that disease, but if you were going to have a child that had a superpower of exploding once and they blow up the world, would you be on the side of maybe calling the child?
No.
If they could
Am I
blow
the
up
parent
an
in this scenario? Absolutely not.
I know.
Am I a leader in the
I
city?
know.
Maybe.
You know what I mean though. Like it's not what my point is. Not cut and dry racism.
Yeah,
No.
for sure. Definitely not a 1-to-1 correlation. Just some definitely similarities in between.
Now, if I was in this country and I said everyone from that country could explode and kill everyone, and I had no real evidence of it besides for maybe like one like earthquake happened a couple of years ago and said fuck all those guys, so I'm gonna murder all of them. Oh, you had a kid with one of them and then murder that kid? That's racism. But the fact that like random kids can be born and destroy a calm and completely kill an entire 300-year community in a temper tantrum, maybe the calling's not that
I'm gonna
far-fetched.
have to really listen to this podcast closely during editing to
You
make
should
sure
really do that
to
to make
see.
Daniel, can you do me a favor and make sure I don't come off as a complete racist asshole?
I will try. Although with like the
It's not
beard
racism,
and
though.
the plaid,
It's not. I promise I'm not.
Yeah, I agree with
If
your point.
anyone
I don't think it's racism. Like this is a case where okay, I'm gonna use a really silly example here. But I think it might be relevant. You guys all watched The Boys, right? Can you imagine if people were born randomly with superpowers and every one of them are born as strong as Homelander?
I can't imagine that. We're reading a series about it.
Yeah, and would you really not consider calling that?
Oh my
you know,
God.
I'm not calling
yeah.
it a race because I don't think it's a race. I think it's just a condition or an affliction, right? But if everyone is as powerful as him and has the potential to mass murder like he does, what's your alternative?
This is actually a really fun
Leave.
conversation because this is actually kind of similar to what's going on with the conversation of halting AI, right? Like, are we stepping, or what do we do as a human species in allowing different forms of evolution or continuance to step past our own capacity and make us irrelevant? Do we stop it or do we let it happen? In this world, in this particular book, probably not great because most of their power, as far as everyone else is concerned, because again, you have to step out and take player knowledge versus character knowledge. Like, as far as player knowledge, yeah, we can see that, yeah, they're destined to save the world because we're reading the book. But player knowledge, or character knowledge in the game, they're all seeing this as far as we know, these fuckers are real dangerous in killing communities. And that's all we know about them. They're not there to save the day. We have no evidence that they're going to save any days.
And this is something that's so incredibly hard to make blanket statements about because we have a solution for this, right? And it's not to kill or to take away the origines, right? Because when origine parents are involved with these origine children, they can quell the quakes. They can make sure that they don't hurt people, right? We're talking about a flawed system here.
How common is that?
It's not common because it's not the system that's been established, right?
Exactly.
And
they
they
don't
can't
know
establish that system.
What if the child is born without origin parents?
But
there's origin in the town. Like it's a part of the system. They're not kicked out of the town. There are origines in the town that can quell these children's quakes.
We know that? I don't think there are. I don't think that's common knowledge. I think that these
because
don't know.
because the system is flawed. Like it's
again, common knowledge is, I don't even know. We honestly, as readers, we don't even know that the node points are common knowledge for regular Joes, regular people living in these things. We don't even know that those exist, let alone other.
Point.
Right. Again, that's that's character knowledge versus player knowledge.
But that's the point. Like the system is flawed, and we can't just make blanket statements about because it's different in every universe and reality, right? Like we can't apply the same things to the Homelander babies, to these Raga babies, to like.
I don't think the system is relevant. The system cannot do about a lot of them. So they have described in the book that originally children can be born of steel parents, right?
Right.
And there have been towns that have been destroyed by children because there was no way to control that.
Because there was no other origine in the town to quell the quakes.
But they don't know that that's a solution because
exactly
character knowledge. They just think these are destructive.
But the Guardians know. The leadership knows. They
know the concept, but the thing is, if this is like a town that
is
super far out,
but Guardians don't give a shit.
Is intentional.
And Guardians, agents of Earth. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about humans. Earth doesn't give a shit about humans. Earth doesn't give a shit about humans.
Exactly.
Earth's going to exist regardless until the moon comes back and blows them up, which is why he wants to save a couple of them to maybe protect them for another 10, 20,000 years.
Sorry,
Or-
Leonard. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh.
I did mean to cut Rick off.
Oh, please, cut me off. I'll cut everyone off. I'm really bad.
I just think that there is no perfect system. Like you can say all you want, but I don't think it's possible. You could have like a remote out town of stills that suddenly had an originating child that destroys the entire town, and nobody would know anything about it. Nobody would know that, oh yeah, we need to have a bunch of origini and send people all around the world just so every single town is safeguarded. But how do you do that? You have to breed origini, right? Then now you're stepping into another kind of
Eugenics!
question.
Are you
Yeah.
saying eugenics is good?
Mean,
Like
I'm saying-
I'm
cannot
green
solve
now, which
this
means I'm
problem.
good.
my point is, what I am saying, that it is by design in like this society with the Guardians, with the leadership cast, like they have access to this knowledge, right? And that it is the Guardians that come and take the origines out of these places, right? It makes the baby origines dangerous.
So, are you saying that the leadership in this entire world is the Guardians?
I think the Guardians are behind everything.
So you think Father Earth, or it's whoever Father Earth is the orchestrator of everything?
Maybe. So, as much as his will can be, I don't think he cares a lot for humans. I do think he wants to keep the origines as powerless as possible. And how else can you keep them powerless? By making them these big baddies.
So
The thing is, the
they're
fear
collecting
is
them.
going to be there. Like, I don't think you've answered the question of the real fear here. Right. What do you expect the Guardians to tell the townspeople that there's nothing to fear from them when one of them throwing a temper tantrum could destroy the entire town? How do you quell that
It's
fear?
not
You need them to.
It's not about like saying that like the babies like aren't dangerous, right? They are dangerous, and that's why you need to have origines in your town, right? I think.
But those origins could just be as dangerous as proven multiple times.
That's because we are like in this reality, right? Where origines are poorly trained. They are not trained to their full potential. They are trained to be controlled. They are taken away. They are these big, bad ticking time bombs, right?
So that's the whole point, though, right? Like
Yes.
we want them to look dangerous. The Guardians want them to look dangerous.
They
so
are
that the
dangerous.
Guardians. So because if you don't tell them that they're dangerous, if you don't tell the communities that they're dangerous, which is going to make the communities hate them, if you don't tell them they're dangerous, no one will tell the Guardians that we've got an origine in our town to go collect them for whatever nefarious purpose they want to collect a bunch of origines for, to go protect the Earth from that moon come flying back or whatever. They are clearly collecting the origines, and what better way of getting the towns to collect them than telling them they're dangerous? But if the town doesn't think that they're close enough, then they're just going to murder their own origines.
So I know you think that the Guardians are collecting all these origines for Father Earth's purposes.
Yeah.
Right. I think the Guardians are enacting Father's Earth's will by controlling the origines to the best of their abilities, and that includes removing them out of society and taking them out of society.
Sure.
And
But
managing
how-
their numbers?
But how do they
How many
And
are
convince?
to
killed?
kill.
How do they convince? Well, I don't think they're actively trying to kill them.
They're.
They're
I think they
training
have
them.
a quota.
Their story they're telling to the world that they're all super dangerous, and to the point where Jija's murdering his kids. Like
Yeah.
there's most origines probably never make it to the fulcrum.
No, but they're clearly trying to train them to a particular point. Why would they have a ranking system? Why would they even bother? Why would they bother? Why would they not just kill them outright?
I know, and now you're sounding like Leonard, right? That was Leonard's point a little bit ago.
Yeah, but why would they not kill them outright? If the point was to get rid of them, why would they not just kill them outright? They clearly need to harvest good ones, which is why they have a breeding system, which is why they have why they're picking these random ones up. And granted, the random ones aren't generally as good, but that's why they have the fulcrum to train them and figure out whether or not they're going to be node maintainers or whether they're going to be that. They need they need the humans to exist to create more of them to protect them from the moon coming back and blowing up the planet.
I do think that you need Erogenes or to maintain the notes. I think you need them to put on their little black jackets and make an appearance to show that the Guardians are the ultimate like powerhouse in this world. Like we can control these ticking time bombs. Look at them. They are our tools. They also your wording of harvest also like I think they do. The Guardians, Father Earth, they harvest magic from the Erogenes.
I'm going to pull a Leonard here and say, I don't think we have enough information, but we'll probably find out.
God damn it. God damn it. The point is to be opinionated and argumentative, Daniel.
I know. This one just went on a little long, I thought.
Okay.
Which is great. Just, I think it's time to move on.
To what?
And, my last thing is, like, a lot of this, we aren't even going to find out. I predict.
Yeah?
That's your prediction. No prediction.
My prediction is lack of information. I'll hop on the Leonard train.
I feel like with them heading to Warrant, we're going to find out a whole bunch of backstory about, what the Guardians' deal is.
I hope so. It feels like they've just had so much conflicting information or viewpoints that it's so hard to, put an opinion to what their goals actually are.
Yeah. Maybe that's intentional. Throw us off, keep us guessing, and it's all going to spin together beautifully in the last 2/3 of the book.
Rick, you're like...
when they say core point, you remember, what's that movie where they had like this elevator that can go through Earth? Remember the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie about him being in Mars? Then they remade that movie, but instead of going to Mars, now they actually go through the Earth with a certain elevator. I forgot what that movie is called.
Leonard's crazy. He's making things up. Let's continue.
I have literally no idea.
It sounds really good, actually. What is it?
Kate Beckinsale was in that movie. She was the lead antagonist. It's a remake of the one. So it was this spy who lost his memory, and then when he went through this thing to give him false memories of a certain vacation or something.
Total Recall.
Total Recall, exactly.
Oh my god!
The Total Recall remake. The remake didn't go to Mars, but it actually had like this.
They still went to Mars, didn't they?
No,
the remake
they didn't go to Mars in the remake. Not in the remake.
Really?
So when they say core point, that's what
really
I don't know.
We'll have to watch. I haven't seen that one.
Okay, watch the original Total Recall first with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Don't make me.
No, you have to. Your husband's gonna make you if you have to. I guarantee it. Mention Total Recall. Ask him which one to watch right now.
Let's continue with the podcast.
Thought so.
All right. So Nasun talks about how she says it isn't right that people want me to be bad or strange or evil. That they make me be bad. I feel like she's developing a real Jija attitude where nothing is her fault. She's definitely, she's had it hard. She's been put in bad situations. She's had to kill some people for the, to stay alive. But she spends all this time talking about all the bad things other people do without reflecting on like all the messed up things she's done. She killed all the people at the Antarctic fulcrum. She killed turned the boy at Found Moon to stone. Just strikes me as her inner Jija coming out.
I feel like
she has the
both
power.
of her parents.
Who are you gonna stop her?
Not just Jija.
That's true.
Kind of both her parents. She's a product of her parents.
Are you guys implying that it's a great thing that Uche has been murdered?
No.
Seems even more powerful.
Wow. No,
did anyone imply that?
No. I was saying that her parents don't give a shit about murdering people and that maybe ran down to her and passing the buck is a family trait.
Oh.
Well, what if you had two Nasuns right now instead of one?
You do! It's called Esun and Nasun!
Oh, no, I'm talking about if Uche had survived and, he grows up to be Nasun level of justification.
If we had three of them, oh my god, if they all had like differing opinions, it'd be worse than this podcast.
And there were three different obelisks fighting, red, blue, and yellow.
Oh. Dang.
Sorry, Daniel, what was your question?
Oh, I actually didn't have a question. I just wanted to point out that Nasun is...
Did you get to know that we were all...
Yeah, Jijin. Anyone think Nasun's going to start turning to stone now that she's messing around with magic
And Obelisk, yeah.
and obelisks?
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
mean
actually.
if she fucks around the magic side of things, she's totally going to. But I don't think she's
Which-
touching enough magic yet.
She's touching it like all the time.
Yeah, she's touching it every night.
Yeah, but like she's not. She's giving. Maybe that's the connection with the.
Esun
the
lost an entire
Guardians.
breast just from piercing a Taurus or whatever she did.
Okay, but what's she doing with her magic right now?
She's feeding it to what's his
She's
face?
feeding it to.
Shapa.
She
She was practicing. Remember when she practiced her magic on that person she trapped in a hole?
Oh yeah.
The
God,
raider.
she's an awful person.
So
I mean, I thought
You
that
know-
was smart.
But realistically though, like what if the feeding to the Guardians is the safe point here?
That
Like-
would be unexpected.
I feel like there might be another limiter, right? She says she's producing more silver now. I feel like eventually when she produces enough, that's when it starts happening.
Maybe, but I kind of
I feel like if I'm really looking for like a reason why Esun started turning parts of her to stone, is because I think she started producing enough silver. And if I had to guess, I think Nasun will get there soon. Because it doesn't seem very clear what turns them to stone.
do we think turning into a stone eater is a bad thing, or is it an evolution?
I want to touch on Leonard's point real quick
Sure.
because that made me think of something. So maybe the magic, right? So they talk about Nasun giving away, and she's basically, they imply she's getting stronger because she's giving it away, and she's finding herself regenerating it more and more and quicker. And let's say if Esun tries to use magic, well, she uses all the stuff that she has naturally, and then she uses like her body's magic, and that's why she turns to stone, maybe. Because maybe humans are just stone plus magic.
Maybe that's why Hoa said, it's just life. We just need life because life is magic.
Yeah.
Oh, life is precious.
Ooh.
I hate
Alright.
that.
Maybe they are using life energy to use their powers. And they have
Yeah,
a limited
it's
supply.
never been the moon. All their moon people who are using life energy.
So, my other theory is that they're borrowing it from Earth. I think that's why Father Earth is angry about it. Because I feel like all this magic stuff actually belongs to Earth, and obelisks are just a way to harness it. I think
I like this.
I think
dude, I'm
they
so
use
proud
the
of you,
obelisk
Leonard.
to harness it, and then Father Earth is like, dude, you guys are taking too much. And
yes.
probably something happened that flung the moon away. That one is hard to explain yet, but I at least that's what it feels like right now.
Leonard,
And then the cost of using too much of that power is that parts of them turns to stone.
this is the farthest I've ever heard Leonard go from what's explicitly written in like.
Leonard
Really?
was like
Yeah.
robots in like
Yeah, Leonard was
episode
nanites.
But robots are realistic. We're in the future.
No, I
like
really like this.
I don't think it's.
This
I don't believe it, but I like it.
this makes sense.
Is this your new headcanon, Lexi?
It is. This is how I'm gonna go through the next 2/3.
Okay. I'm gonna respectfully disagree.
Well, it makes sense though because you have all the like when Nassoon describes all the webs, like they get brighter around these calderas, around these like big indents into the earth. Like it gets stronger around these like ancient dead sieves that like penetrate into the earth.
I'm super okay with being wrong, but I'm gonna still holograms.
I mean the fact that the way they describe core point as well, it's like this giant hole in the earth, right? I think they discovered the source of power in the earth, and the obelisks are a way to extract it. And Father Earth's not happy about too much being extracted. Maybe that's why he has something against originate, because these people are the ones who can control the obelisk.
If that was the case, I mean, if Father Earth was against it, why would they allow Alabaster to live as long as he did?
That's the thing. That's the part that I can't quite connect the dots, right? Like,
and what did happen to Alabaster's guardian?
We don't know, right?
We don't know. I'm so excited. I want to see what happens because I feel like that's something that they have to address. And if they don't, I'm gonna be sad. I don't really expect them to do it, but like,
did he say he removed the thing from them?
I don't think they did. They specifically say that.
They didn't specifically, but they I did get the impression that that's who Shafa was dreaming about, like the old guardian who he went to go kill. Like that was.
And what are the connections with what? Okay, so the Origini clearly have two counterparts, right? There's Origini, the Stone Eaters, and the Guardians. What connection do the Guardians have with the Stone Eaters?
I don't know.
They don't like each other. Or, well, Shafa and Steel don't like each other.
Nobody seems to like each other in this.
Right, everyone fucking hates each other. So Leonard's right. No one is friendly in this universe. This is the shittiest timeline. What connection is... There's got to be some kind of connection between specifically the Guardians, and we'll find out in the next 6 chapters, I'm sure. But what connection do you guys think there is between the Guardians and the Stone Eaters? And I can't believe this question hasn't been asked before, actually. Or has
Guardians and Stone Eaters?
Yeah.
Well, so...
They both have connections with the Origins.
So, I think the Guardians are ancient agents of Father Earth, whereas Stone Eaters are outside. They're neutral. They're Switzerland, right? Some of them want to help Father Earth, and one of them want to fuck everything over. Fuck humans.
So, does that make sense in a storytelling perspective to give like a one clear antagonist in the Switzerland? I mean, I feel like clearly at this point too now the Guardians aren't even all on the same page. Like, do you think they have an active interaction?
No, I don't think so. So I think the Stone Eaters are a byproduct of using the obelisk too much. Like, probably because of the toll it takes on their body. And I think the Guardians come much later after the shattering, the incident that caused the 5th season. I think that's when Father's like, you humans just fucked me over. Therefore, I'm going to make some Guardians to try to create my own ecosystem, government, whatever that is.
I'm excited because I think this is what the next 12 chapters is going to be.
I think it's like that, except different, where it's going to be the Orogenies fucked me over, and now I'm going to create the Guardians to fuck over the Orogenies.
I think the humans created the Origins, though.
Yes, but the Orogenies are the reason that the moon got thrown out.
Hoa's the reason. He admits it in the first chapter.
Yeah.
Right, but with Kalenli, who I think is an Orogeny.
I think Hoa is too.
Right.
So here's the other really wild one. Maybe something happened to Kalenli and Hoa's like, fuck this.
Hoa is the real villain?
Yeah.
That would be...
Well,
he says he blew up the world, and he's the reason that the world is this way.
Alabaster blew up the world too, and now Lexi even likes him. So, like...
I do like Alabaster.
Alright.
Blow up a world that was already blown up,
yeah, that's the whole point of the story. Not everyone's evil. Not everyone's good. Everyone's in a gray line. It's not all about...
Gross.
I have some things to say about that soon.
Oh,
I got like 2 questions left, okay?
Okay, let's go. Do them.
And it's getting kind of late.
Yeah, let's wrap.
Alright, so Orogeny is super powerful in this world. And their powers are like kind of made for this world. What would be some fun uses for their powers in our world that don't include murdering everybody?
Oh my god.
Iced coffee immediately.
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
Like an icy area in summer.
Okay.
Like
pretty much ice.
Yeah.
That's it.
hot tub on command.
True.
I mean, they could be just mineral detectors, right? They can literally assess minerals.
Non-mechanical wave pools.
Oh, they could probably save people in earthquakes too.
Well, I think earthquakes just won't be a thing.
Yeah, they just stop.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They can detect volcanic or seismic activity.
They
can stop earthquakes. California will stop having earthquakes.
Yeah,
holy shit!
Leonard's like 7 minutes behind.
There's lag in this Skype call.
Stop having earthquakes. Not
hyper-specific murders.
No, we said no murders.
Yeah, that was clearly.
All right, I got a fun, super fake theory. Well, it's a theory that's just almost definitely not gonna come true.
Daniel, I want to hear it.
So, Nasun turns Juja to stone, What if a Stone Eater, maybe Steel, comes along, eats Jija, shits him out as a Stone Eater?
Get out.
Nope. That's out. That's gone. That's not even a thing.
They,
Bro.
they
Maybe a little
still
snack.
make a
but, like, that's-
monument where Jija used to lie or something.
why would Jija
Yeah,
need a monument?
all the
Fuck Jija.
stones were there,
Okay.
just laying
Yeah.
on the ground.
Okay. Redemption arcs aside, does anyone argue with my point of fuck Jija?
No.
No.
Fucking hate that guy.
Do you have any redemption features for Jija Leonard? Okay.
No,
We
it's better off
literally have been able to argue on everything up to this point. But we all say fuck Jija. So Daniel, fuck you. You're below me in my screen?
I wasn't saying I want that to happen.
No
I was
redemption
just
arc
saying-
for Jija, Daniel.
Yeah,
No,
you
I
were
wasn't-
like
I
pro
also was-
Jija.
I was not saying it's a redemption arc.
Jaffa, he's a good guy. Jija, fuck that guy.
Yeah, I think Jija's stone is not good enough quality to become a Stone Eater.
Oh, the
What-
shade.
What if Jija comes back as like some super fucking guardian?
Stop.
All right, let's move on to final thoughts. Leonard, how'd you think of this first 6 chapters or whatever it was?
I feel like it should have moved a bit faster. Like if you really think about it, nothing really happened. So that half of it is flashbacks of the past that we cannot really relate with, and the other half is just Esun traveling, Nasun traveling, right? There hasn't really been a lot of major reveals in between. Besides Maxis. Maxis is probably like the biggest reveal, but there are talks of core point and stuff. They revealed some tidbits, but I wouldn't say it's been exciting or, not at the peak yet. Slow, I guess.
Sure. Rick?
How old is Shafa?
Like 300 years.
No, I think he's older. I
Why?
think he knows.
All right,
Because
750.
He keeps referring to things like he does not know how old he is. He's lost his memories. He remembers what the transportation points are. I think he's fucking as old as Hoa. I think he's been around since Hoa's been starting his shit.
I'm pretty sure that's not true. I think they know the transportation point because that's where Warrant is, and that's where they just go.
Sure.
Guardian culture.
I'm
Oh,
still
what-
gonna say that he might be as old as Hoa. That's my thought process right now. I think that
Nasoon asked him that
he doesn't know.
specifically.
And
And he
doesn't
says,
know.
he says he doesn't know, but he kind of
doesn't
laughs
remember.
off. Like, I'm pretty
What-
sure I'm not.
What if again, this comes back to like how much memory can you actively retain when you're thousands of years old? And he clearly remembers certain things that he shouldn't know, and he knows he can't remember particular things.
It's the USB stick in his head, I think.
His USB stick ran out. Dude, you know what's worse? This is the Amazon USB sticks. And I don't know if you know about Amazon USB sticks. If you ever find those shitty third brand ones, they say they've got 64 gigs, but they've only got 32 gigs. And the moment you hit 33 gigs, it deletes the first gig. That's what's in his head. He's an Amazon fucking USB stick. He doesn't remember shit from 4,000 years ago, or however long it ends up being.
40,000.
Sure. Whatever, Daniel. And he is as old as Hoa. He was there too. That's my thought.
Cool.
Whoever-
Lexi, how'd you like the first third of the book?
I also enjoyed it, but it was
I really dislike the Syl and Angelus chapters being like distributed throughout. Like I think it's good for the storytelling, but I am listening to the audiobook and it's so hard to keep track of. It's
so jarring.
I would like to read through them. Once we read through the book, I'm going to read through all of them again.
I do need
You're
a
gonna
second
reread
go
all
through.
3 books?
I will.
No, just the Syl and the
Oh,
list.
Got it.
And
Gotcha.
I can't even say it.
Lexi, I probably
Full
will go through all 3 audiobooks again.
That's what you do when you have audiobooks.
Because it's you go drive for a trip and it's like these are super short. Perfect.
Yeah,
for it.
these ones especially are short.
Daniel?
Gotcha. All right, so we took a week off between books. I got a little bit of a rant. We took a week off between the books, and while we were on break, my Over Christmas, not while we were on break, but over Christmas, my sister got me the first book in the Sholo Man series, which I read the entire trilogy in between books 2 and 3 here, and it's really good. It's by Naomi Novik. Anyway, fantastic series. If anyone wants to check it out,
Can we do it next? In the future?
I would.
He's already read the whole book.
I would definitely be down for that.
Because like
You
I
like
like
moderate.
not to interrupt
Yeah.
your thing, but the whole
Yeah,
point
no,
of
it's
this was somebody here had read the series and then like knew as
Yeah.
everyone else didn't, and then someone
That
you
was
were
the
at the end.
original idea.
I think that would be fun actually to do
I think
that.
so.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So reading this, like, and then coming back to this series, just really like highlighted so many problems I have with this book. And the first is the whole thing is just super depressing. There's no humor. There's no nice moments. There's no human moments. Like literally the nicest part of this entire series so far is the time skip when they're on the island Miav, and we just skipped the entire part.
I thought it was hilarious when Shafa broke her hand.
Good point. Another thing I hate about it's just got the bleakest view on humanity, right? There's no redeeming qualities to almost any of these characters. When fucking Shafa is cracking like the top 5 most ethical people in the series, like there's a problem.
Tonka.
Yeah,
Tonki.
Tonki's like, all right, you got Ika and you got Tonki,
Tonki
and
is 100%
we
the best
barely ever talk to Tonki. We barely see her. She's
Yeah.
barely anywhere. She's in the background all the time, and she's like, we're like, oh yeah, this is a good person. Like
And she's got a
maybe
motive.
she's a super shitty person, but we don't know because we haven't gotten to know her. We all want to like her because she seems awesome, but we don't actually know her. And the few times in the series that Asun has like a human moment, like when her and Tonki are getting along, it feels like the stories. You guys heard the stories about like Hitler, like where he let his Jewish doctor leave the country, rather than sending him to the camps. And it's like we're supposed to ignore the millions of dead people and slow clap that Asun can act like a decent person for 2 seconds. And it actually just shows like what a complete hypocrite she is. This book, it feels like reading the news, right? Where they just highlight the worst parts of people, and they had a chance to do something like pretty nice with the vote at Castrima, where they, we're going to vote whether to get rid of all the Eurogenes. And instead of doing that, we get Asun just threatening to murder everyone again. And not that she was like wrong to do it to stop the vote, because that's not a vote that should happen. But that was like a moment that this book had to be like, hey, not everybody's a piece of shit. Not everyone's a bigot. And instead, we just don't get that moment. Like, it's just completely stepped on.
I feel like you nailed it as far as that feels like the point of the book.
I think
Right? Like,
Okay. Yeah.
Continue.
All I'm saying is, every time there's something good or nice, we're seeing it through the eyes of this just bigoted, hate-filled woman. And I think Jija and Asun fucking deserve each other, because they're like 2 sides of the same coin. Every chapter of this book we're reading now, it ends with the story of an Eurogeny presenting a disaster, and most of them end up with the Eurogeny being killed. And this, it very much reads like somebody who just watches Fox News or CNN all day, and then they decide to write a series about this is what humanity is like, like as if that's an accurate representation of people. I cannot stress how much I dislike this series and like the way it portrays people, and how there's not a single redeeming quality. There's not a redeeming moment. Nothing about anything in this world is good.
Daniel?
Yeah.
Beautifully said. That was beautiful. I agree with you on a lot of senses of that concept. It is so one-sided. So that's not the right word. As remote as possible? That's not right. There's a word. But Daniel, I completely agree where the point of view, the writing, the perspective of this is so
One-sided.
white versus black.
Yeah.
That it just doesn't make any sense. That's not everyone fits in that, and this feels like they're trying to shove most people into this, besides for our favorite character. It's a binary concept, and it's not a binary concept. and that's one of our biggest issues with this. A lot of our characters.
Like the character development for our characters is 0.
But I do think of character
trying-
growth. Shafa's
Oh,
up there.
la 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 la.
I mean,
No, seriously. I mean, Daniel.
one-dimensional characters? Is that like somewhere along those lines?
Yes, yeah.
No. Well,
Uh,
two-dimensional characters specifically, actually, the issue, right? Like they go from good or bad. They're, yeah,
Yeah, no, you're right.
They go
you're
from
right.
they go from bad to worse, or worse to bad.
right. They don't.
I'm curious if Lexi, do you agree with my rant?
I do for the most part. I do think that is the intention of the author, and I do find it refreshing. That it's something I get jaded with a lot of stories is the good guy kind of trope.
Oh, sure.
So.
Yeah.
I love a great character. I just don't love all evil characters.
I also only semi-agree with Daniel. I think a lot of the book characters, if you really put yourselves in their shoes, it doesn't feel too far-fetched. It feels quite realistic, like how they would act in a world like that, right? So it doesn't seem like they are illogical in some of the way they act. That's
That's
about
true.
it.
I think it's super illogical to not befriend Erogenes and try to keep him around when your Earth is always shaking. But
Again, yeah.
we'll leave that. We had that conversation already.
Yeah.
Player
Can of
versus
worms.
character knowledge. D&D, right?
All right. Thank you all for listening and or watching. You find us on YouTube and all.
Podcast places.
Not all podcast things. I found out we're
What?
not on Spotify.
What the fuck?
Yeah. I think you have to sign up for Spotify and pay them money.
We're not paying them
I
money.
have a
Fuck you.
Spotify premium account
Oh yeah.
if that helps.
Do you want to throw it on there? We
Yeah.
can try.
Have
see what
to
happens.
have
We may be
premium.
on
Fuck you,
Spotify
Spotify! I'm not saying that officially as the group, just me.
I'm cutting that out so we don't get defunded by Spotify instantly. And yeah, have a great night, day, whatever it
Bye.
is. Bye.
All right. You guys ready for an intro?
All right. First, are we hyped?
Oh, my fucking
Should we
God.
get a little bit
How do
excited?
we get hyped? Do we play a game of Hots and Loose?
No, I don't think that's the plan. Let's do a round of claps, a round of hurrahs,
What a shot.
shot of Jemisin.
No.
Bring a little more energy than we have had so far today. Fucking Mondays.
Let's go.
Yay.
Leonard!
All right.
Fucking move your hand, bud.
Yeah. If you don't move them, you look dumb.
Yeah, you dummy. This is not peer pressure. Haha, you did it! Peer pressure wins!
That was very Wednesday, Adam's Family.
It was.
I was thinking like anime dance, like, the cute girl anime things.
Oh, okay.
You also just look like Wednesday Addams.
Thanks. I thought I did anyway, but
Oh, yep.
You've always had a real Wednesday Addams vibe about you.
she's upset with me.
Why? Oh, because you're dancing and not playing with her?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi,
God damn it.
Eno.